they sent me to a hotel with a reservation that they didn't pay. Then they took me to a bar instead of another hotel. I ended up sleeping on the terrace for my friends with all the mosquitoes, just like making a feast out of me. Then they didn't pay me, and then they lied, and then they disappeared for a week.
The show must go on. Even if the show goes wrong, the show must go wrong.
I was just going to say, the way I like to start the podcast is if I could just have you introduce yourself. I like to usually say, I'm a little familiar with your work now, but the first two listeners of the podcast were my parents, and they might not know you yet. So if you could introduce yourself, and we could start that way.
My name is Chris Burstein. I'm Argentinian, best known as Los Cabra. I have a 2.5-year-old kid. I live in Berlin for maybe a bit too long. I'm a DJ, producer, with releases on Steve Talent, Get Physical, Syncopat, Bar 25. And we're just enjoying this beautiful summertime here in Berlin.
Lovely. So where I kind of wanted to start was where I've discovered you, so to speak. But you made this post, I guess it was a couple months ago now.
It was like a month ago, yeah, and it got crazy viral. It was the first time in my life.
Yeah, so it showed up to me, I guess, also because I'm doing this podcast about artistic process and whatever. But essentially, you wrote a little thing just about how you played a set at Sisyphus, and you just felt like you weren't connecting, and you weren't technically everything was correct, but you weren't, I don't know, feeling the magic. Would that be fair to say?
So the thing is that before my kid, I used to travel like 7 or 8 months per year, and I've been traveling all over the world, and the show that is for me, the show that I enjoy, there are 2 places in the entire world, or well, let's say on the city, it's or in Thailand, in Eden Garden, that is in Koh Phangan, or Sisyphus, or Kareblau here in Berlin.
Yeah,
these are the places that I feel myself, and I can do like the most weird things that I ever imagine, and it's gonna work. And I go there, and even my wife, she knows that she doesn't even know when I'm coming back. It can be in 2 hours, it can be in 1 day, because that is the show for me. That's for my soul, because the payment is not the best compared to other countries. And normally I don't, or I would like to believe that I don't put so much expectations on things. But on Sisyphus, that is for me. So I said my friends are going to be there. And you know that the entire setup is perfect. The sound system is perfect. The people, the crew, the way that they treat you, the lights, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
And I go there, and normally I feel like really strong, really solid. When I try to express, when I have a good set, I don't say it was a great set, it was beautiful, it was magical. It was solid. It was solid because I can translate my idea from going to A to B, and there's a reason why I'm going into that path. On this time on Sisyphus, first of all, they changed my day. Normally I was going to play on a Saturday on the night, but because it was like a long weekend, they put me on Thursday to Friday, because it was also a holiday on Thursday. And I got there, again, people was great, the beach was full, the club was full, everything was on point. But for some reason, I got there to play, and I was not feeling so comfortable. Why? At the beginning, I said, I don't know why. Because there's no specific reason. For me, it's tricky, mostly in other parts of the world, when there's these kind of gaps in between DJs that people come, people go. In Sisyphus, normally it's quite strong.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you play down tempo or hard tech, and if you do it right, people will stay.
Yeah.
And this day, of course, this is all the things that I can think on Monday's diary,
yeah,
on the
of
newspaper.
course.
But in the moment, I was seeing some gaps. People were coming, people were going. Then when I thought a bit more, it was the time that the night shift of people were coming, the daytime they were leaving. They also opened Hamahale, that is another stage.
Yeah.
At the same time, they closed tunnels, so there's like a normal movement
Yeah.
that I didn't think about it at the time. And normally the way that I play, I start playing for nobody in my life. It's not that I had like a peak in my career that I went from 0 to 100 in 2 days. No, it took me really a long time.
Yeah.
So my first shows, they were for nobody. I was alone on the dance floor, and then maybe 5 people were coming, and then I have to read how the people react and see if what I'm playing is working, because otherwise we'll leave, and then I'm gonna be alone.
Yeah.
So I think that my biggest virtue is not that much my DJ skills or my production skills. It's about how to read the crowd.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm normally, something that I do when I have like a big crowd, I just choose like 3 different people, and one that is jumping like crazy, the other one is just bouncing, and the other one just playing on the phone. So I just need to make the 3 of them just
To kind of get like the full spectrum.
Yeah, I cannot see when there's like on CC for like 1,000 people in front of you. So I take 1, 2, 3, and I need to make the 3 of them to move. And that's kind of my secret.
Yeah.
And this time I could not read it so well.
And what do you attribute that to? I mean, you referenced your Monday journal afterwards. Like, is it, you know? Because I guess one thing I'm interested in with like playing as a DJ is it seems like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's like you're playing, you know, how many times a month?
Before the baby, it was around like 6 to 8, unless I'm on tour, and then it's way more. It's like 2 or 3 times per weekend. But now, for the past couple of years, it's been like 2 to 4, let's say.
Yeah. So that's interesting to me because like doing comedy, it's you can't. There's writing, which is a little bit, I guess maybe could be analogous to like producing or something.
Yep.
Although I think there's a more of a limited scope into how long you can do it. But I can't just say my own jokes by myself in my studio and still have a feel for the music that the way I imagine you could maybe like play a little bit to still I don't know, feel that connection or whatever. So you have to go up all the time. I most weeks I perform 5-6 nights a week, multiple shows each night. So it's interesting to me if you only get to play 4 times a month, it would feel like it would naturally add this pressure going in, and then also afterwards you don't have. It's not like you don't have the next one waiting for you, so you have to sit in the feeling of it. So I'm wondering, as you mentioned this reflection, have you do you feel like you've diagnosed why you had this feeling coming in? Was there a pre-show ritual that you didn't do, or some stuff going on at home, you're a parent, you know, that you brought to the dance floor that made it harder to connect?
200%. You're totally right. It's exactly that. Because, first of all, I think that the little twist between a comedian and DJ producer is that I think that producing is one job and DJing is another job. And they're not always go well together.
Right.
I know great producers that they're not good DJs, vice versa. And I remember some years ago when I had another page, and also I was doing interviews, and I have the guy from our department, and he told me something that at the moment didn't resonate, and then he says, he might be right. He said, I feel confident at the moment that I don't feel the pressure to play my own songs on my sets, because then you're free. I got to that point some time ago, some years ago. I think that at the moment that we want to play our songs on the sets, on one hand side is to show people what we can do. On the other hand, we're still artists and there's a lot of ego. Because what is the first thing that we do when we play one of our songs is like,
Yeah.
this is mine, this is mine.
Yeah.
And then the people says like, who cares? It's good, it's bad. And
Yeah.
so I have that feeling. This time, or for the past couple of years, I don't feel that pressure anymore, what is great. But I want to go back to your question. I totally believe that the way that we're living or something that is happening, it's a stimulant. If we're good, we're better. If we're bad, we're worse. And I can totally see that when I'm having some issues at home or in my personal life, that it's when all these little demons, they just come here. So it's like, I'm here. And you start feeling insecure about yourself, even though that you know that the music is there and your stage presence is there and you know what you're doing, you still have these fears. Because when you have fear in your life and then you go to a club, the fear is not going away. It's still there with you. And I totally can see that in the last couple of years, my life it has been a bit rough. To have a baby is beautiful and it's really fun, but it totally flipped 180 degrees how my life was going for the past decade. So yeah, for sure that came on my little backpack with me.
So I went and like listened to the set, you know, because I was interested to be like, can I tell? You know, which, as I said, it's like I'm a consumer, I'm a fan, but I'm not. I don't know it in the maybe that kind of more minuscule detail. And to me, it was just like, oh, this is a nice set, you know. But when you leave that day and you have that, do you listen back to the set and think, what happened here? Are you, I guess what I'm trying to ask is like, after doing a set, are you analytical about the performance or, yeah?
Yeah, so I listened to the set several times. I check all the transitions. And something that it changed from my early years till now is that before, if there was any mistake, I used to try to skip it or save it or do something about it. And now, in my idea of being authentic, it's like if there's a mistake, it was also part of that. I play for 3 hours. Of course, some mistakes are going to happen. Again, not on mixing, but mostly on the conceptualization of what comes first and what comes after. And yes, I get out of the club. First of all, I have my people around, and I say, just be honest with me. Just be honest. Just tell me what you think. And it depends also on their state of mind. They will give you one or another interpretation. But you had to believe on that. And some people said, like, well, I didn't like the start so much. I didn't like the ending so much. I like everything. I think at this point you got it. And yes, I am extremely analytical. That's why this time it was interesting that I listened to that once and I said, I'm going to put that on to the universe, to the people to tell me if they can see that I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But normally, yes, I listen to every mix and to see if that makes sense. Of course, that on a club, there's many other factors. The way that I play, that is my thing. It's I don't believe on the artists that they have all hits, because if all the songs are hits, there's no hits.
Yeah.
So what I do is I try to create tension between 3, 4, 5 songs, and then there's a moment of release. And then after that release, people come down, they go to a bar, they have a drink, and then they come back. And then I start growing that tension again. This is the way that I play. Some people see this as a good thing. Some people, they don't like it. But for me, it's boring to play 3 hours with the same vibe that is kind of like monotone.
Yeah, there's no journey to that.
For me, one song after the other, that is the big difference between a beginner DJ that is storyteller.
Yeah.
One thing is Jim Carr on your end, that is one little joke after another one, and there it's different than Seinfeld or I don't know, a Rick Gervais that is about the storytelling.
Yeah.
It's different concepts. For me, I want to believe that I'm a storyteller, that you can see why I started here, that I start slower or easier than my endings. My endings are way more explosive. But one is not better than the other. I don't like personally those monotone sets that they keep the groove, but actually at the end nothing happens. But that works, and today's life that works really good on dance floor because people are just dancing and they don't care. It's only a few that they really put on the attention on. That's why.
Yeah.
Because I play one Brazilian vocal, the other two they have the same resemblance.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. And I'm wondering also, like, so you're there, you're having this feeling of these the problems on your shoulder or whatever. And I'm wondering what that feels like internally. Because one thing I've discovered doing this podcast is, like, mostly I've talked to other comedians, right? And one thing I've noticed that a lot of us have had as a similarity is you can tell that the show is not going how you want because you have an inner monologue going, which I think is interesting. I think a lot of people, you would think, oh, if you're up on stage talking, you can't also be thinking in your head, but you can 100% be.
Wrong.
Yeah.
No, of course. We've been doing this for so long that we go on autopilot. I know that normally I'm not going to make mixing mistakes because it's on autopilot.
Yeah.
You've been doing this with your eyes closed for so long that is not the issue. For me, the issue is coming when I cannot follow the path that I don't want to say that I plan because I don't plan my sets. I don't have a playlist.
Yeah.
I separate my music on different quarters, on the way that I think that people will feel in that moment. It's not about BPM. It's about the moment that I think that this song is going to fit. I'm going to bring back something from a guy in my country, like the national hero, Hernan Catania. And he was saying that this different artists play the same 10 records and it's going to sound different. So you, me, and someone else plays the same records, and the way that people will interact with that and how they're going to feel is totally different. And I think that was my big good thing, is that for some reason that I still don't know, I connect, and people connect with me. I had people falling, like tears in front of me, people screaming, people shouting. And it's not about the music. I think it's about me and the connection that you can get. And I think that day in Sisyphus, maybe it was happening, but my demons, they were there and they were not allowing me to see all those things. I was having those inner talks that something is wrong. Why there's some holes here on the dance floor, why the people are coming, while people are going, I have to switch to another thing, I have to switch. And I understand that those might be my demons, but then we play a couple of times together with the DJ that came after, Pascal Voltaire, and they put us one after the other. It's not the first time, so we might fit musically. And then when I make that post, he texts me and says, like, I had the same feeling. So
maybe there's also an energy in the room that night a bit. Yeah. So that's this was kind of something I was going to get to later, but it's another thing that I'm interested in is, I mean, I think you're much further along in your like craft and your career than I am. But for me, it's a new thing I used to have the feeling that if a show went badly, I always took it personally. I always felt like it's my job to make people laugh and try to connect. And if I don't do it, that's not their fault. It's my fault. And now I have a little more nuanced opinion about it, which is that, of course, I'm bringing in stuff to the show that's going to affect the performance, but also have, over, thousands of shows now, it's like, you also realize it's like sometimes just the people that night, they have something that's going on that's not allowing them to join you, or just they don't connect with what you're trying to do. So how do you react to a dance floor that is maybe not exactly how you want it to be?
I always give the same analogy, is that, well, we know here in Berlin there's a lot of vegans. I'm from Argentina, so kind of
Beef.
We praise beef. And imagine that I take you to you're vegan, and I take you to the best steakhouse in the world. And it's going to be the best steak, but it's just not for you. And it's the same thing. Sometimes the music that you're playing is the right music, but it's not the right place, it's not the right audience. So that's why I think that I learn how to adjust myself into those situations. This is a give and take, always. At the moment that your passion and your source of income are going on the same way, one is going to suffer. Always. So we're not ice cream. We cannot make everyone happy. So it's I understand that sometimes things are not going to go my way. It is a horrible situation. Of course it is. But I cannot win every battle. If I can say that I play solid now, it's only because I didn't play solid another time.
Yeah, because you the kind of pearl of wisdom you got from the unsolid thing became a tool in your tool belt for the next show or something like that.
Yeah. And that's a good thing about this, is that we know that if everything goes well, in 1 week we have a rematch. We have a revenge.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes longer, sometimes not, but this is not forever. And at the end of the day, for us, it's our way of living, but for people, it's entertainment. Many of the issues that I see when I'm playing on a dance floor, for them, it's just another DJ, another track. So we need to put everything in context. This is not an open heart surgery. We're just playing music for people in a special state of mind, and that's it. Of course, I feel horrible, and that's why it was so interesting about this post that I made, because I didn't do it with looking for likes or anything, and it got like 100,000 views or comments and plays, and then they make an article on Face Mag, what I didn't know, and I got a lot of contacts from several people in the industry. What for me was not such a big deal. It was more, I did it on a Saturday, 3 p.m. I just wrote some things down. They said like, is it only me? Also, I was not depressed or melancholic or anything. It's like, is this only happening to me, or some people can relate? And that was it. And then I woke up like with all this like waterfall of comments. Whoa! So maybe this is not only my struggle.
Well, I think that's what drew me to it. Is just, I mean, one, I related to this idea, and two, I mean, I'm not in this world of, DJing or clubs or whatever, but I'm a fan. I'm a consumer, in that way, and it was a certain type of honesty that I hadn't seen that much of. I think a lot of what I see online, it's the video behind the DJ and the crowd's going or whatever. And so it was just interesting I guess it was humanizing to be like, right, and you have your struggles that you're bringing into this performance that maybe isn't always on top of mind when you're out there dancing.
I think that's something that changed in the last couple of years, is that I got so fed up of seeing how happy people are. And then when you realize Instagram or social media, it's the edition of the edition of the edition of your life. What do I mean? You take 10 pictures of you. You choose one, and then you edit that one, and then you put it up. So it's the edition of the edition of the edition of your life. And I'm so fed up just to see so many fake happy people online. That's why I'm just posting my things. I'm not even watching social media, because it's crazy. And after all these years, that, for example, when somebody's playing in a really big place and the video is only on that person's face, and then you can hear the reverberations like poo, 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 poop. Means that the place is totally empty.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you so much. It's been like a dream come true.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, you play at 4 p.m. in an empty dance floor.
Yeah.
What you are trying to sell?
Yeah.
And for me, that it's a total no. I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done, and that's why I just need to.
Why do you think people do that? Because I feel the in my own small way. It's like I was doing a tour this year, and I posted every single time it sold out, which is funny already to say, oh, I sold out, because it's like I play 50 seaters, which is the smallest venue you can do as a comedian, right? Yeah. And it's like, and people who like my comedy, they don't care if I sold out. It's really it's a signal to my peers who follow me, like, oh, I'm being successful or whatever. So why do you think people are so called to like try to put on this like air of success?
Because at the end of the day, we all just want to feel seen. And in order to feel seen, we want to show the best of us. Mm-hmm. So when you go to a fancy party, you have your best dress, and the family is great, and the kids, little angels. Mm. And then you go home, and it's like mayhem. We have to compete with our own egos, because even when we don't think about it, we are competing with the others. You just said that you're posting that for your peers to see that you're successful, and then there's like, oh, shut up. Yeah. I want to be successful too. And this is a big discussion that I have with a friend that he has a fitness studio. Mm-hmm. And he only posts happy things. Mm-hmm. His concept is the world is already being too sad, so I just want to bring that joy to people. I said like, but it's unreal. I don't believe it. Mm-hmm. If everything that is happening in your life is happy, where's the balance?
Yeah.
And I can totally understand, not to relate with that, but there have to be some gray areas. And this is our egos just trying to show off that we're better than what we are. And it's about the projection. Mm-hmm. We want to project that they're successful, that also because we're coming from years of history that we need to show that we're successful. And that is something that I totally see on the American market. That even with Tony Robbins or anyone, they have to set up the bar, in little pills, in these little doses, that, because I'm here to help all of you, because I already have like 50 million people and I make 50 million euros.
Yeah. You're only worth listening to because you've already been successful, not because you're wise or something.
Exactly. And I can find wisdom or really interesting people that they didn't achieve any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, but back to my example for quickly, just I think a counterpoint, or maybe this is what, this is also what drives this, is it's like, on the other hand, it's like, so I post this thing, my show is sold out, but then there's a comedy club in Dusseldorf or something, and they see, oh, this guy's selling out a bunch of shows, let's book him to come headline for us. So then there is some like business opportunity from projecting success. So, like, how do you balance that? Like, you need to be real, you need to be honest as an artist, but you also need to eat and feed your kid. And so, even posting online in the first place, you're playing the game a little bit to try to have success, right?
I think I played that game for too long, and honestly, it's not bringing the amount of shows that I thought. And then I was doing everything, the one-on-one on social media. Mm-hmm. And I was doing things on the studio, and I was separating or showing how I make the songs. And I was doing the sold out, and I was showing the super amazing videos. That is not so easy here in Berlin because videos are not allowed in the clubs. Yeah. So I have to do that on different markets. Yeah. I played that game, and at least on my case, it brought to a lot of anxiety, fear, depression, melancholy, because the reality is not up to the expectations that you created. And it's true what you said, that I'm sold out. But don't you think that the people in that club, they will see where did you play and how many seats you have? If they've been doing this for a long time? I understand the narrative.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you're right, but I think also I mean, I guess this brings to another interesting point that I kind of wanted to ask about, which is like, I mean, you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, like when you started playing, you played for nobody, right? Opening dance floors, I imagine, kind of, or at slots where it's like there's not as many people. And maybe this is similar, maybe it's different, but I think in comedy, it's like you're always after the pursuit, especially when you start, of like getting in rooms where you can really spread your wings in a way where it's like it's full. They're listening. They're there for a comedy show and not just at a bar being surprised that someone's telling them jokes now, you know? And so I think that signals sometimes of like, oh, people are coming to see what I'm doing. Then they're like, well, okay, let's give him a shot. And if you believe in like the work you've done, you know, then, okay, I'll hopefully be able to meet that moment, and that will get me in a room where I can spread my wings more. So your path, you know, I guess more on the DJ side is, it's like, do you feel like, do you feel called to be like, I really want to play a certain time slot with like a certain amount of energy in a nice club like Sisyphus or Carte Blanche or something? Or can you find the joy in any venue or any situation?
I can try to find the joy in any situation. I remember something when I was a kid. I used to play volleyball, and I remember it was kind of like a final, and the coach took me out. And then after I said, like, why did you took me out? And he told me something. It was like 30 years ago, and it's still here. It's just like, if you're not asking me when I put you in, you cannot ask me when I take you out. So let's go to the clubs. If they put me on a specific time and a specific place, it's because they believe that I will perform better at that time and at that place. So I cannot complain, because it's what the other person is receiving, that you are telling me how I have to do my job. They're not coming and they tell me that you have to play this or that. And for me, that was like a pivotal moment of my career when I start accepting what I get. On the other hand, when I had that explosion moment on my career, that they opened Tomorrowland with my music, or Tale of Us playing my music for 6 months for 30,000 people in every show. That came at the moment that I didn't want to do exactly the same as the others, because probably that will take me to the same place as the others. And why are they going to hire me if they can hire the other one that is more expensive, that you know that is delivering? So the pivotal moment in my career started when I started doing, you know what, I do my best, but I do my thing. And I do my thing. Of course, I'm not an idiot, and of course I'm going to go into one or that direction if I see that it's different crowds. If you have a crowd that is more after office, or you play more fancy place, what it means that it's more an alcohol crowd, of course I'm going to go a bit more housey, less intellectual, to say the least, and because I want that to work. And then I'm going to go to Carte Blanche or to Sisyphus or to what I get at the time, and then I'm going to do my weird stuff, because that is the place for that.
Yeah.
But everything changed when, again, I'm not going to say that I didn't care about what people were thinking, but when I started doing my thing. And that brought, of course, it took time, and this is the way that I think. I'm touring a lot in India, or it was Russia at the time, or Dubai, or Mexico. It's like, if they're paying the big bucks to bring me here, to fly me over, to put me in a nice fancy hotel, because they want me to do what I do, not what everyone is doing.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. That really, but that also takes bravery. You know, that's also credit to you to have the self-confidence to be like, they're bringing me in to do my thing. I want to go back quickly. One more thing about the Sisyphus set. I wanted to ask you said that night it's like, okay, you had some stuff you brought in with you, and I'm wondering, what I've found for myself is it's like sometimes I bring something into a show and I can't escape it. I can't shake it. It affects this show and it leaves me feeling not great. On the other hand, I also have this experience sometimes where it's like I come into a show feeling down, feeling stressed, feeling anxious, and the performance itself becomes the medicine. And like the mood from entrance to exit is like a complete 180. And I'm wondering, so it sounds like you have had the experience of like the negative affecting your performance, but have you had the experience of the performance, changing your mood from, depressed or in a rough headspace to a positive one?
For sure, because it's really interesting what you're saying, and for me, I have many people around that they say that the way that I express myself when I'm playing is like I didn't know this guy. I'm a totally different person. I think that as an extremely analytical person, and music production, it's 20% talent and then it's hard work. It's just to sit in front of the computer and to do a mistake. And the way that I am when I'm on a dance on a DJ booth is exactly that. It's about expression. So I had many situations that maybe the flights were delayed and the hotel was not so nice and I had issues with the promoters. It happened to me last month when I was touring India. And also I made another post that it also got viral.
Yeah.
At the moment that I was on stage, everything else was gone. It was gone. And something that I do, and if people see me on a dance floor doing that, it's I put my headphones down, I do one step back, and I just look at the people, and I'm there, and it's just like, man, it's okay. Some things are complicated, and it's money and flights and promoters and blah blah blah. On the other hand, tell to Christian 10 years ago that he will be in this situation with 1,000 people in front, just looking at me and listening to what I have to say, and that is my moment. That it's even more than once I dropped some tears. It's like I am living the dream, even if it's only for 3 hours.
Yeah,
but I'm there.
Yeah.
So that grounds me and it makes everything not so black and white. And so this is also real.
Yeah. Well, that's it's hard to do, and I mean I guess I can only speak from my own experience, but it's like it feels like because a career in the arts, it's not a typical career structure where it's like, oh, I become an assistant manager and then I become a manager and then I go to corporate, like everybody has to make their own path. And so I think it gets very easy to always be focusing on like, oh, I want to make this thing and then I want to get this show, and always looking there and not doing what you're doing, which is, taking the headphones off, stepping back and just appreciating how crazy it is to be where you are. I'm wondering, can you take me back to like your very beginnings? Like, how did you start producing and DJing? Did you discover it through going to shows, or what brought you to it?
It's interesting. I had a relationship when I was really young for like 7 years, and my best friend at the time, he introduced me to DJing. So I was at my place just playing with the old tractor ages ago. And long story short, that really good friend ended up with my ex-girlfriend, with my girlfriend at the time. And I didn't know how to deal with that. I was like 23, 24. And so I need to start doing things for not to think about the situation. So then I started climbing. I was like desperate climbing. And then these kind of things that they came and someone said, well, maybe we can do it was Ableton 4, now it's 12. Maybe we can do like a production course. And okay, And then, just for not to think about the breakup and how shitty the situation was, I started producing music. And after that, I was in Argentina. People came to my office and they sold everything. And they said, I don't want this life anymore. And then I moved to a place that close to paradise, I thought. It was Costa Rica in Tamarindo. And then I brought some CDs and I made it like a mix set with CDs at the time. And I just gave it to different people. And I started playing a bit more. And then I started producing more. And it was totally horrible music that I was producing. But labels kind of like it. So I started releasing. And I was like, maybe there's something here. That also allows me to travel. And I really like just to get into weird situations in the middle of nowhere with random people. And DJing allowed me to do something like that. So that's how I started. And then I was producing more and playing more. Again, for almost no money in different places, but beautiful places. And that started getting escalating. And then for another girlfriend that I had here in Germany, I learned about the artist visa. And then I applied for that. And you know that Germany and Berlin in particular, it has a really specific energy. When the city wants you, it opens all the doors for you. And then when the city says like it's enough, it starts closing everything. And for me, at the time, I came here without a flat, only with this visa. And I went to Holzmarkt, and I have lunch with an old friend, Dave Dinger, that he was one of the first ones in Bar 25, Kareholzis, Fusion, Bar Stelzen, or Garbets. And then we were just talking. I said, oh, well, I'm looking for a flat. And he said, oh, well, he works with me. I just broke up with my girlfriend, so when I have a place. So, okay. And then I got a place. And then Peter Schumann, he was the booker, one of the residents in Careblau, said, okay, I show you the studios. And then he showed me the studios, and he introduced me to Sasha Kawa, that is one of the, with Dirty Doring, one of the founders of Katamuka. And then in 1 week, I had a studio to make music, a huge, amazing, beautiful studio from Sasha that I was using in the mornings. And then I had a place. And then with Peter, I got shows. And so then the city totally welcomes me. And at the moment that I started working in Berlin, that totally changed my career. And it got me to the next level. Also, just to see that the neighbors that I had in the studios, it was the people that I always wanted to network or to see or to know. It was from Oliver Koletsky or Acid Pauli, Peter Brita, Curiosi Naturale, or a lot of Marco Resman, and all these big names. They started being colleagues, that we had coffee together, that we had breakfast together because we're in the same place. And then I realized, hey, so they're not more than you. They're better than you, and they make more money than you. But what we do is the same thing. We make music. We like to play music. And that's it. And that it was like the big switch on my career, just to understand that, okay, we're colleagues.
As you say, there's so many amazing artists based here who I imagine might also have like interesting insights or tips into like producing or even just how you approach a set or playtime or something. So do you think that was part of what helped you also jump a level, was to get some insights or knowledge from them, from those peers?
For sure. Well, he doesn't know, but I think that Sasha Kawa, he was like my big mentor. He showed me the scene from a different perspective. And all the people there, it's for me was crazy to see them. Like, we had to play on Sunday night, and then they finished really late and really tired and exhausting. But the day after, 10 in the morning, they're working.
Back in the studio.
Back on the studio.
Yeah.
Back on the studio, maybe not making music because your ears are tired, but doing emails, sending invoice or something. And for me, it's like, chapeau. And
like a more business, like an approach of like, this is my job.
This is a job. This is a job. We would like to romanticize that music is our passion. It's a job.
Yeah.
It's a job that we have to follow certain rules. That for the last couple of years, I've not been following those rules, and I can totally see that on my career, that I've not been doing other things because of the baby, and we're here and we don't have so much help or no help. that took me out of the studio, so I'm almost no producing. Why? Because also now you don't need to be a producer to get shows. My business model all the time, it was I make good music to release on big labels, so big artists play my music and the promoters listen to that. My following gets bigger and then I get higher. And my money is coming from the shows. These days, that is not the business model anymore. You can be a model, an influencer or whatever, and you get shows. So, or you can get a ghostwriter or an agency that can pull the strings in the proper way. And today, that is way more important than the music that you produce.
And I feel like there's a lot of discourse online now, I see, like with artists, where it's like there's a lot of frustration of like, we need social media in some ways to get people to, listen to our work, read our work, whatever, and or to sell tickets. And so we're trying to figure out how that, we're spending time that we could be creating, trying to figure out how the algorithm works, or make something that will engage people, or whatever. And that's frustrating. On the other hand, there's never been a time where you could make things so on your own. If you just with your phone, you can make something that people find your music in a way that, like in the old days, it's like you needed a label to promote it or to get it on the radio somewhere or whatever that it is. So how do you grapple with this? Because as you said, it's like you've tried making stuff for the algorithm, and then the thing that you didn't intend to go viral is the thing that goes viral. So where does that leave you today as an artist having to do social media?
It's a really good question. It's unclear. At the time that I put on the effort, the work, and the money into that, the return, it was not that big. Even I have friends that in every release that they have, they put like 3,000 euros on promo, and it's working, but it's so ephemeral. Everything is coming and going. At the moment, I am honestly a bit frustrated. Also, the German scene or the Berlin scene, it's quite tricky because I have like smaller fees here in Berlin that in a almost empty bar in another part of the world. And also, they're not allowed to take pictures or videos, so they're not allowing you to grow your following. I realized that when I play here, like for example on Sisyphos, also the set on SoundCloud, it got like a couple of thousands of plays. But at the end of the day, because people they just want to get out and have fun, I don't get new followers. So how do I cope with that? I don't know. I don't know. I feel that now I'm on the way back of my career because I'm not so sure if I want to put on the effort to achieve or just to do these things. What I know that if I want to continue on this, it's kind of a mistake. But on the other hand, I don't see the electronic music scene in the world growing into the, I don't want to say the right direction. It's just another direction where the clubs are slowly dying.
Yeah. And
you have our big festival with the same 50 names all over the world, or you have local things. So, and I'm on that gray area with many other artists that you need to put on the work. And what is the work? Just to get out and to talk to people and to be friends with big artists so they can not sponsoring you, but like support you in different ways. And I'm not seeing other ways. I don't see how an artist can grow on this without a couple of €1,000 per month on social media, on networking, on PR, magazines. Honestly, I don't know where the world is going.
Yeah.
It's really unclear.
Yeah. If this is like outside of the realm of what you're comfortable talking about, we could cut this part out. But one other thing I'm interested in that you kind of mentioned there is like, so I had like my whole 20s where I was just like or most of my 20s where it's like I was just a consumer I went to shows, I enjoyed it. And you have this idea of like what an artist is and what their lifestyle is. And the interesting thing for me about like now starting my own career and then meeting more and more successful artists is how many of them are like I meet a DJ where I'm like, oh, I saw you at this festival, you're successful. And they're like, no, I work in a tech company and this is like a side hustle for me. And that kind of thing happening again and again has blown my mind to, and also kind of given me this new perspective of how on the edges, how many really on paper successful artists are financially. So I'm wondering, like, like how much does the financial side come into play for you? Is that like a constant stress for you, and how do you balance that against the what I would consider like pure artistic side of the job?
The pure artistic side suffers.
Yeah.
Suffers because something that really changed that I didn't get it at the time with my former partner, Manuel, on Los Cabra, that I was doing, as I told you, specific music to get into specific labels, and I was following that trend because I know that the money is going to come from that. And he told me something that at the time I didn't get it so much, but I do now. It's like, we need to have fun of doing this, and we need to think out of the box, and we have to all these steps. And at the time I didn't get it, but I do now. I do now, and it happened recently. For 2 years I was frustrated with the career, with everything that I was not achieving, and a lot of the contacts that I had during the pandemic and the shows, I have a bit of that inertia when shows keep on coming, but the pandemic was a pivotal moment. It was 180 degrees that the promoters that you knew, they're not there anymore. They went somewhere else, and the rules of the game change. And I didn't get it at the time. I didn't get it. I thought that the world was going into a different direction, and the world turned into, during the pandemic, some of the artists that we see right now successful, they start making super beautiful videos during the pandemic on a cliff, and then putting like 5,000 euros on YouTube to make it viral. And now they're playing all around. You have to keep in mind that during the pandemic, Tulum raised as a place, Afterlife and everything that was around, and many artists, without giving any names, that they got successful doing beautiful videos online. I didn't see that trend. I didn't see that the world was going into a direction, and that is my fault. A couple of months ago, after actually playing on Careblau, I came back home, and for the first time in a long time, I still had that adrenaline rush of the show, and I opened Ableton, and I started doing something totally different than anything that I did before. And I felt like, I started breathing, because it was a way of expressing myself without trying to convince anyone else about this music, not thinking about the dance floor, and it was a way of expression. And I don't know where that is taking me, but I found another way just to put things out from my soul, and that is like the big change. So the economical part, now I'm struggling with that because of 2 years of not putting the effort and not making the social media content and not going out. I cannot go and talk to promoters at 2 a.m. when I have the baby just jumping on my head.
Yeah. And also just like just to get a sense, it's like if you were playing 4 times a month in the city at a club, it's like those fees aren't enough to pay your rent.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Actually, they make more money, the DJs that they play for 6 hours on a bar, than to play on these big clubs. That also they have these rules that they don't want to repeat names unless you're a resident. So maybe you get like 3 to 4 bookings per year at tops.
Yeah.
Normally it's like 1, 2, 3 times. So Berlin, it's the capital of culture, probably in the world, because I see that 80% of the sound that is right now in the world is coming from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that from Cane Music. You can see that from the artists, from the labels, from the trends. I think it's coming or from London, Berlin, and even though that Italy or Spain, they have really good producers, the trends are coming from here.
Yeah.
So Berlin can give you that push, because for a long time I was the DJ from Berlin. Who? That guy from Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped. But here in German, they have like a really good phrase, word. It's called Brotlose Künstler. That it means like artist without bread.
Uh-huh.
You can live out of your passion, but economically, it's not only me, it's many artists that I know with long careers. They're struggling with money. Also because, let's say you're between 40 and 55.
Mm-hmm.
Your peers, the people that are the same age, they're not clubbing anymore.
Yeah.
And I can also totally understand that if you're like 22 and you go to a club and you have a guy that can be your father, it's not so interesting as to have a guy that you can totally relate.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's you're right in one way, but then like my friends and I, we went to Fusion this year, and I took them to see Acid Pauli, and he was playing at, I don't know, 6 a.m. or something, and they didn't know him, and then he pops up and he's like this old wizard.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is this? This is crazy,
Yeah.
And then he's also playing his kind of music, which is also very different and whatever. And so it's like, I think you're right. It's like, we in some ways we want to see, ourselves reflected in like the art that we're consuming. But I also think there is a power to being the like, who is this maybe a little more experienced, wise person up there who's showing me something that the 22-year-old can't show me.
Yeah, but that situation happened on Fusion. That is a place that you go to discover these kind of things with people that they're not on. But are you going to bring your friends to Careblau? Because also Pauli, he's also playing Careblau maybe on Sunday night, and I saw him playing for 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's also about the space and the time. Festivals are really good for that.
Mm-hmm.
That you can see these weird performances like him, but also he's the 1% of the 1% of weirdness, and it's a guy that is doing things different.
Yeah.
But you don't have so
himself.
many of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one more question, then we'll get to kind of the end here. But I also, one thing I'm interested to just talk to a DJ about is like, I feel like so much of dance music culture, club culture is interwoven with, drinking, taking something, this kind of chain, not, I guess. Perception, exactly. And I'm wondering, is that something that like shines through to you when you're on there? Can you be like, ooh, they're drunk tonight, or ooh, I don't know what they're taking, but it's not like a vibe, it's not they're not connecting or whatever, or does that kind of disappear behind the music and the dancing?
Not at all. For me, that is part of my how to read people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to see people melting in front of me because of ecstasy, MDMA. I love to have people like that and to play specific music for those situations.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm aware that it depends on the place, the time, the crowd, the audience. It's different music for different moments, different times. And I have to go through that. If you can, after so many years, you can see on their faces that they're maybe in a special state of mind or not. And when I see people, and that is the other thing that I love about Berlin or Germany, these kind of like sober raves, or even there's a kinder rave from Diego friends that I played a couple of times, that we go there with kids, and it's at 4, 5, 6 p.m. And it's not kids music, it's party music with kids.
Yeah.
And kids like to jump and dance. and then it's no alcohol and no drugs and no nothing.
Yeah.
Also, you have this static dance.
Yeah.
That is a different level. Of course, that I see to whom I'm speaking with. That's why we have this conversation in English and not in Swahili.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're talking to me and I know that you speak English, so this
Yeah.
is in English.
I'm wondering, do you have any really memorably tough shows where something went wrong in a way that maybe was tough in the moment, but looking back at is, a kind of like a funny memory?
I have something for that I heard that is really good. It's like comedy is tragedy plus time.
Yes.
So many things that in the moment you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
And then it's just funny. My last tour in India, it was like 3 weeks ago. They did everything wrong. They bought on Wednesday my flight only one way to India on Friday. They sent me to a hotel with a reservation that they didn't pay. Then they took me to a bar instead of another hotel. I ended up sleeping on the terrace from a friend with all the mosquitoes, just like making a feast out of me. Then they didn't pay me, and then they lied, and then they disappeared for a week.
Oh my God.
And that was like 3 weeks ago. There's another post.
Yeah. I read a little bit of this, and that also has to be extra heightened now that you're a parent, because it's not just, oh, okay, something went wrong, but it's like, I'm leaving my child.
Exactly.
And now I'm, and now I'm just in this other country stranded. And I also read from the post, right, you were supposed to do like 8 gigs or something, and you only ended up doing 2.
They promised 4 to 6 shows.
Yeah.
That, without any numbers, but that gives me 3 to 4 months of living here, paying rent and food and everything.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it was only 2 shows. Really struggling. Really, it was like a terrible time.
Yeah.
But in a couple of years, also I had some other terrible times in the past, and then it's just another stripe on the tiger, and it is what it is. Charles Chaplin used to say that life, it's a drama when you see close by and comedy when you see from far behind. So this is just going to be another story.
And how do you deal with that when you're in the moment suffering? Because I mean, one of the genesis of this, which I've said, if people are listening who listen to a lot of these episodes, is like I've said this story a lot of times, but the genesis of the podcast was on my first tour. I met this DJ. She booked me she was also running corporate gigs, which that was one of my first things, is the finance thing, where I was like, wait, but like you have, X number of followers and you play this club and that club, but you're running this office's Christmas party for them.
And probably she was making way more than on the clubs.
Yeah. But she was talking about this thing where she did a show in Bali, and she was like, it's so interesting because I was like there and there's 2,000 people and I was connecting and it's all this crazy energy. And afterwards I was in the hotel in the pool and I was just looking around and everybody was couples and I was just all by myself. And this shift from like, I'm connecting with all of these people to just being alone. And it hit me at an interesting time because it was the very first time I was doing a tour with stand-up, and I was like, yes. Like, I'm connecting, I'm making you laugh, and then I'm eating alone, sadly, in a restaurant. So I'm wondering, when you're having this, like, kind of awful experience where the promoters are giving you the runaround, you're sleeping on a balcony, like, that's insane. I mean, and especially for what a, long career you've had, it's like, how do you deal with that in the moment?
I'll give you 2 examples. First, I was now in February, I was playing Tulum, and at the same time I was doing here a project management course, and I play Bagalum and I play La Piscina. I had over 1,000 people in front of me until 1:30 in the morning. And then, because I was doing this tour, it was on German time, I had to sit on the computer from 2 a.m. till 11 a.m. in front of a computer. And you have all this adrenaline that is just going through your pores, and you just want to put it out, and you cannot do anything about it.
Yeah.
That is the first one that it was like this big clash of energy. And the second one, 4 years ago, I was playing in Hyderabad, in Prism, that is one of the biggest clubs there in town. And it was the night of the final of the Argentinian match against France. And I had to play at 10 p.m., I remember clearly. And I was there with some friends, and the match started, let's say, at 8. And 1-0, great. 2-0, okay, we're champions of the world. And then I'm getting ready just to go on stage, again, with a couple of hundred people, like 700-800. The best club in Hyderabad. 1-1, 2-2. but I need to play. But Argentina, it's in overtime. It's like, no. And they said like, okay, just 5 minutes more. Man, no, you have to come to here to work. Well, I ended up listening. I was watching the match where I had all these people. I was like, yeah. And then the promoter says like, man, it's not serious. So okay, you're right. So I couldn't see that. And then they told me that Argentina won. I dropped on tears. And then I went to the hotel and I was alone. Beautiful 5-star hotel, JW Marriott, with nice food and everything. And we are the champions of the... And I was alone.
Yeah.
So then I had again that rush of adrenaline that I couldn't share. And actually the pin video that I have on my Instagram is it's Celine Dion saying like, all by myself, going on tour. And I'm alone, so I'm just kind of like taking my bag alone, and doing on the swing, or eating alone, only with my bag. Yeah, so it's tricky, but it's our job, and this is part of our job, just to deal with that reality that when you have 1,000 people singing your name in front of you, that is not purely real, and when you're totally alone in a hotel room, that is also not real. So it puts everything in perspective that we are into this paradox of both unreal realities. And I think that because the success of my career came when I was a bit older, I know how to process that. But how can you tell a kid that is 22 with a couple of million followers on TikTok and now he's a DJ, how do you explain that person that this is not real? How do you cope with that? It's...
Yeah. You just, like, that hit me so hard. Woo. Yeah. Because, I mean, of course, I know the thing of, like, the adoration, that's not real, but I never thought about it. It's like, yeah, the alone, that's also not real. That's, yeah. Well, I think we covered all my questions, and thank you so much for coming. Where can people find you? I'll post links to anything you want in the description for the episode, but should people follow you online, check out your SoundCloud, your Spotify, this kind of stuff?
Yeah, so they can check for Los Cabra. I know it's wrong, but it's like a funny thing in Spanish, but Los Cabra. And it's on SoundCloud, on Instagram it's Los Cabra Music, and over there's a link where there's like a solo, like a link tree that people can find videos, sets, tracks, podcast, all these kind of things. So Los Cabra.
Los Cabra, the links will be here. And if they want to see you, if there people are watching or listening to this in Berlin and they want to catch the next time you're going to be playing in the city, is that something that you post on your Instagram, or you have a website where you announce that kind of stuff, or how does that work?
Yeah, so normally that goes on Instagram, and because of that, I didn't know, but Spotify also shows all the shows that are on Resident Advisor.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So that is quite cool.
Nice.
So the next one is going to be on Garbage Festival that is in Poland. But the same weekend I'm going to play Johnny Knuppel, August 2nd, that it's in 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
That is for the WUSA anniversary party. That's the next one, but everything is going to be on Instagram. It's a story, posts, everything.
Perfect. Well, dude, thank you so much. This was really nice.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Even if the show goes wrong, the show must go wrong.